Hello and welcome to a little bit of French flavor for that game we're all incredibly hyped about, Europa Universalis 5. If you are as hyped as I am, then hit the subscribe button because I do videos a few times a week and going over all of the updates and information and all of that kind of good stuff on this game. So, without further ado, let's go and have a look at a bit of France. And the first thing I want to do before we actually get into the Tinto Talk itself, is I feel like they've done even more updatiness to the map, because this looks really good. Like, I don't feel like I'm going, pushing the boat out very far here, but it does seem that some things have changed. I mean, what I've always liked in map mods for Europa Universalis 4, Imperator did this really well as well, is the ability to see the country color and the map kind of beneath it. I want to see the terrain, I want to see the forests, I want to see the hills and the mountains and all of that good stuff. And I want to see it while having that kind of overlay of the country's color. And we're getting that here, and it looks so nice. And now all I want to know, well, not know, all I want to see at this point is the cities and buildings and all of that from that also on this map. But right now, this map, this image is probably my favorite one of the map that they have shown yet. It looks really good. It looks really, really good. But yeah, we're here today to talk about the French flavor. So let us get in without any more further ado. The death of King Charles IV without a male heir in 1328 marked the end of the Capet rule over the Kingdom of France, resulting in the coronation of King Philippe de Valois, a relative from a former cadet branch of the dynasty. However, it's been contested by King Edward III Plantagenet of England, on the pretext that while the Salic law of France forbids the passing of the throne to a female successor, it does not forbid the inheritance through a female line. Again, as I said on Wednesday, France is just clearly more sexist than England. And I just want to point out as well, this is a joke. Some people didn't get it last time, apparently. Anyway. As the son of Dame Isabel the She-Wolf Capet, the last living sibling of King Charles IV, King Edward III might claim the throne of France as his birthright. The tension over both countries has worsened over the past years, as our hospitality of the exiled young ruler of the Scots, King David de Bruce, has enraged the English court, whose Balliol puppet seeks to seize that crown. As a response, King Edward III has also recently granted refuge to Sire Robert d'Artois, who escaped calls to face trial in Paris for his attempts to seize the county of Artois. There are rumours that Sire Robert is even encouraging the disgruntled King Edward to press his claim to the throne of France militarily. Should relations continue to deteriorate towards a boiling point, King Philippe may require the support of his subjects, although more than one ambitious appanage hailing from the old royal line may seize on the opportunity to demand greater privileges, proving a greater threat to the stability of the crown than any invading claimant. The upcoming years will be consequential for the future of France, having to face the external English menace and the proud French lords at once. Will the country fall to the fake pretenders or emerge as the main power in Europe? Great flavor. Great bit of intro. Of course, if you are wondering about how the 100 Years' War will play out, I did a video on the 100 Years' War situation on Wednesday. You can go check that out. I will leave a pinned comment, or it'll be in the description, something along those lines, for you to go check out if you so desire. So, a cool new feature of EU5. They have a fixed DNA system, so certain important historical characters have their faces pre-scripted to look as close as possible to their historical portraits. Oh my gosh, fantastic! Already implemented this for important starting historical rulers such as Philippe of France, and other important characters that can appear via event, like Martin Luther. So, let's just take a moment. This is Philippe VI, and this is an image, if I get this in the center of my screen. This is an You know what? I feel like it's kind of decent. It's kind of decent. Hold on. like, I can see it. They have the nose. You know what? You know what? Bravo, Paradox. This is something that people have been complaining about quite a lot. Anytime there's a historical character coming up, examples, every historical character shown so far, there's always been a group of people that point out and say, nah, this is not what this character looked like. He's missing his signature this or that or the other or whatever. And you know what? Bravo for, like, working on that. That's fantastic. That's actually legitimately fantastic. I'm quite happy to see that. So yeah, other important characters that can appear via an event. Okay, I want to see this for so many characters. I want to see this for a lot of characters. I mean, I'm sure over the years that EU5 will be supported for, more and more characters will have this done, and I'm sure that'll also happen with their outfits as well. But this is a really fantastic, like, starting off point. And yeah, you know what? Like I said, bravo. That's a really good change to the game. And I know a lot of people still have big problems with the portrait system in general. And again, what I can say is, from my experience of playing the game, it is not as bad as it kind of feels, right? Because when we look at, say, this and we blow it up a little bit, it does look slightly blurry. I mean, I've just taken an image this size and made it this size, but you get what I mean, right? These guys are not 2D images, right? They are 3D and they are moving slightly. They're not doing, the whole CK3 wild maneuvers, holding their head, all these very exaggerated movements. It's way more subtle than that. But even so, when you're taking an image and taking a picture of it, he does look more blurry than his background, and that is simply because he's moving and they're taking a screenshot, and that's just going to happen. But for what it's worth, they are getting way better. If we compare this to the earlier portraits, he does look much better. In motion, they do look better again, and they're nowhere near as distracting and immersion breaking as I've seen a lot of people claim and fear and, that kind of thing. So I think they are really improving the portraits to a really quite nice degree. I'm becoming a fan. I'm beginning to feel like this is a genuine improvement. It was always inevitable since CK3 came out and they put so much work into this character system that future games would include them, and they've been in every single game that's come out since, and I'm pretty sure that will continue to be the case. But it does seem like these are getting better and better, and honestly, these portraits right now, I think, are the best version of the character system that Paradox has made. They're obviously better than Vic 3, and I think they look better than CK3 as well. That's just my opinion, and if you disagree with that, that's fine, I guess. Anyway, the French stats. 163 urban locations. We got 5.9 million pops. This is just French heartland. It's not including the appanages. 93 tax base. 39,000. What is it called? Army power strength, something like that. I forget the term. But essentially, this is levies plus regulars all mixed into one. But no boats. I guess the French don't have a coastline. It's not England's fault. Don't worry about that. We have here rivals or enemies. One of the two is England. Is that a royal marriage with England? Maybe that's actually Normandy. No, this one here is Normandy. The two lions. There's, there probably is a royal marriage because of the whole 100 Years' War thing. Kind of, has to come out somehow. Yeah, royal marriages. I'm pretty sure this is enemies, like the opposite of rival. But yeah. Ruler, we got the heir is Duke Yehan. Yeah, cool stuff. And again, I think this looks great. It just looks so good. It looks so good. As does this. Look, I don't prefer this view, but it still looks good. It still looks good. France is already the biggest country in Europe in 1337, so I've opted to share with you 3 zoom levels today. The second one, you can see how the forts look at the moment. Yeah, this is what we've also seen in the main thing. Actually, there's multiple different types of forts here as well. There are actually several different types of forts. Like, this is different to this, which is different to this, which is different to this. I think these two are the same, they just have a slightly different coloring. But yeah, there are multiple... Also, this one's different as well. There are multiple different types of forts. That's really cool. I wonder what that means. I have absolutely no idea. But that's nice. That's nice. The diplomacy of France is quite interesting at the start. Yeah, that's... These are vassals, so there's, what's that? 38 vassals. That's actually crazy. This is rival, this is enemy, so they are rivaling one another. They're guaranteeing Scotland, the Old Alliance, and then these are their royal marriages. But yeah, there's so many vassals, it's kind of crazy. Some of the subjects are regular vassals, whilst others are unique subject type, the appanage. So, what is the specifics of appanage? The overlord will annex a subject if they have no heir when the ruler dies. Cool, nice, I like to see that. You can annex them after 15 years. You need to have them at max opinion. I believe 200 is still the max opinion. You can build in them. Diplomatic rules just normal. Okay, there is nothing here about them costing no diplomatic limit, right? The diplomatic capacity of a country is quite a valuable resource. It means you can't like go and ally everybody and kind of win that way. But these appanages all cost some amount of diplomatic capacity. They are not like the Ukbeys, I believe they were called, of the Ottomans, who cost nothing. But yeah, seems reasonably like a normal vassal, and this would be their special rule that makes them unique, the annexation on ruler death. They won't join the country's defensive wars is also a bit weird. They will join the offensive wars if it has not been granted temporary exemption from offensive wars through the 100 Years' War situation. Fair enough. The Overlord gets -1 crown power. I wonder if this is per. It's probably not per. Stability decay, monthly legitimacy, they pay 20% of their income. Institutions spread as well, and the subjects get more manpower, more max control, some prestige, and more efficiency of the cabinet. Very nice. Starting situation of the French government. They have a couple of government reforms. One of them is giving +1, it seems. French feudal nobility. Diplomatic capacity, yeah, this is clearly to get enough to hold all these appanages. They don't like peasants, makes sense. You know, they're not eating cake, so why would they care? Culture capacity +2, loyalty of subjects -25. That's painful when you have subjects as your main thing. This is what lets them have appanages as well, aristocracy and serfdom. Feudalism has a tight grip on the French court affairs. Powerful nobles and autonomous decentralized subjects have unprecedented amounts of freedom and say in our internal administration. We also have ancient French taxation, which has a mouthful, and you know, if you can think of a better name for this, go to the forums, leave them in the comments. Something's got to be better, because this just sounds like bleh. Historically, taxes have been imposed and collected in times of need, not by a regular occurring system. Okay. Yeah, it just sounds clunky, but this is what gives them +1 government reform. Is +1 government reform worth maximum tax -15? No. No, it isn't. Because there's no benefits here whatsoever, just This is just a 15% negative tax. That's just kind of nasty. Anyway, we have the Great Officers of the Crown of France, which gives +1 cabinet seats. Amazing modifier. This is going to be one of the big ones, which is determining how strong you are, really, how much you can do. The cabinet seats are incredibly important. So getting +1 is awesome. Most important government officers within our central administration are reserved for the nobility within our realm. For the burghers, we have the Villers Franchais. Nailed that pronunciation, don't even worry about it. Increasing the nobles' satisfaction, increases the migration speed, and progress to decentralization. Several of our market towns have grown tremendously in size during the last few decades. As such, they developed a level of autonomy, transforming into something that eagerly resembles free cities, leaning towards a decentralized approach in governance. Right, I'm going to stop here as well because I've just noticed something that is new. I'm fairly sure this is brand new. Implementation status. This is new. Because here I've just gone back to the Milan-Naples dev diary, and it is not in this estate privilege for Visconti city-states. So, what does this mean? What is it? What are we looking at here? Essentially, what my hypothesis is, and I don't know if they go into talking about what it is, my hypothesis is, because some people, and I am some of these people, just grab out a bunch of estate privileges all at once, and then they're there instantly done, ready, which kind of feels a bit dodgy, right? Instead, now what I think we're going to get is you give this estate privilege and you don't get the immediate bonus. It has to tick up to 100%. How long that takes? Not a clue. Maybe there can be some kind of modifier given to, some government reforms that make this go faster. That's entirely possible. But this is new and I kind of like it. Either it's going to give us nothing until it gets to 100%, or it's going to give us, I think the power is going to be immediate. Again, this is a guess, just based on, I don't know, exposure to everything that they've said about this game so far, and playing it, and making an educated guess, I guess. But this is what I think it's going to be. We're going to instantly give them the power when we give an estate privilege. Either we're not going to get any of this until it's at 100, or this is going to tick up to 100 if it is a number that can be divided or whatever, If it's something like cabinet seats +1, then obviously it's going to have to wait until we get to 100 before we get any of it. But that's my guess, and I think that's really cool. I think that is, I think what might be interesting is the speed of implementation status is faster if you're only giving out one estate. Say you gain 1% per month, and don't worry about numbers, it's obviously probably wrong. But if you get 1% a month for engaging or implementing an estate privilege, but if you are trying to implement 2 at the same time, then they go up at 0.5% per month. So crapping out, 8 privileges to the burghers day 1 is going to mean you're going to have no privileges for the burghers, but all of the power for 8 times as long as you would usually. That is my guess, and I think that is a really good way of stopping the give out all the privileges day 1 strategy, which seemed to be quite prevalent in the playtest that I got to play in. Again, when I played as Milan, I think I mentioned this during my Milan Dev Diary video, I gave out all of the privileges day 1 and became a republic day 1, completely skipping a huge Milanese disaster that is supposed to, make you become a republic later on. I think that's what we're looking at here. I think this is a great change, and I kind of want them to talk about it. Maybe they do. I don't think they do, though. Anyway, several of our market towns have grown tremendously in size during the last few decades. As such, they developed a level of autonomy, transforming into something that eagerly resembles free cities, leaning towards a decentralized approach in governance. The Flavour name for the parliament is the Etats Généraux. Nailed that pronunciation, naturally, of course. And they also have a bunch of unique advances, which 1 per age as per usual. So, In the Age of Traditions, we have a knightly nobility, increasing the nobles' levy size by 100%. This is kind of huge. Noble levies are full of armored cavalry, which, the French were kind of famous for. Nobles of our nation have always provided the best soldiers to our armies. Their trained troops will serve our nation and defeat our enemies for the glory. Well, welcome back, Elan. Anyway, cultivating the doctrine of attack is the centerpiece of our army. Our men show such elan, then we have a clear edge on the battlefield. We also have gendarme companies, giving plus 10% cavalry power and army maintenance reduction. Reliance on the system of levies has exposed our government to great risks and has proved to be severely limiting, which has established groups of heavily armored cavalrymen with a fixed salary to serve our ruler as a standing army. In the Age of Reformation, we get some tax efficiency. The intendants responsible for collecting the taxes of the people should not be named by the estates but by our ruler directly. This way we shall ensure the officers will be loyal to the ruler alone and gather the rightful tribute owed. The Philosophes in the Age of Absolutism, giving a research boost. Enlightened times, we boast some of the greatest philosophers of our age. These thinkers are producing a constant stream of new ideas and thoughts, which are stimulating advances in all fields, from the most mundane to the most important. And then, finally, and naturally, liberté, égalité, fraternité, increasing the tolerance of heretics and heathens. With all men being equal under the law of our new state, people of other religions are allowed full participation in the state machinery, giving those provinces a boost. As a Tier 1 country, this meaning they have, they're one of the 7 countries in the game with the most dynamic historical events. France having 205 of them, which I think is more than I'd seen before. Hang on a moment. So, England here has 233, or had. This has almost certainly gone up as well. But this is back when I got access to play the game. England, 233, and if I play it on a bit, if we have a look at France, they had 176. And now that number has increased to 205. Fantastic. Obviously, this probably should come as no surprise to anyone that they're continuing to, update the game and give more flavor and such. But I think it is really good to see just the rate of change that we're seeing, So, yeah, an extra, 30 events or so? Dynamic historical events added since I played the game. Fantastic. Absolutely great. Love that. So, some of these dynamic historical events. We have Gabelle. Our income is ever decreasing, our armies will soon become undersupplied, our cities destitute, and our coffers empty. The time is now to consider alternative sources of taxation, regardless of how unpopular they may be. Salt, much like water, is an essential element to life. Perhaps we could implement a series of taxes on this vital resource to reinvigorate our tax earnings. Salt will be taxed in giving an extra government reform. Fantastic. Maximum tax for peasant state plus 20%. When this happens, the book doesn't say, but sometime after the 100 Years' War would be the guess. The Ordinance of Normandy. Though originating in earlier times, only recently have we completed the Ordinance of Normandy. This document, with the power to revolutionize our jurisprudence, could be used to enforce a greater level of centralization, which was previously not possible. The nobles will be displeased with our drift from feudal to royal law, but it could well be a price worth paying. Finalized around the 14th century. Yeah, cool. Getting a bit more control over the north. Hailing from a wealthy bourgeoisie family, Etienne Marcel has made quite a name for himself in recent years through Paris, becoming a rather influential figure in the mercantile politics of the city. It's through this influence that Marcel eventually gained the title of Provost, representing the interest of the various merchants of Paris. While it has been quite some time since he assumed the role of Provost, leaders throughout the Estates General have found him an influential figure and has elected to make him a delegate in the interests of representing the Third Estate. It would be unsurprising if Marcel's influence continues to grow with his newfound position. Another delegate for the bourgeoisie, or you can welcome him, and you get an event chain around the fate of Etienne Marcel, Provost of Paris. You get the Eagle of Burgundy, Brittany. An entourage from Brittany arrived early in Paris, commanded by Breton General Bertrand, the Eagle of Brittany du Guesclin. Nailed that, probably not. A distinguished general, he's already pushed back several English excursions into Brittany. At the recommendation of Duke Yan the Good de Dreux, Bertrand has arrived to the capital seeking to serve King Philippe in the Greater War with England. Having already proven himself capable against the English, the Du Guesclin may serve as an instrumental general in the wars to come. Okay, so you're getting a nice general out of there, and you also get another chain out of it as well. The minting of the franc. Recent global affairs have led to the treasury of France becoming financially strained. What character from the cabinet has put forth the idea of minting new coins to combat these financial woes? I think this is going to be... it will choose a character from your cabinet, and Pavia, I assume it's Pavia that wrote this dev diary, didn't, play the country to set up this dev diary, and just fired this with the console while having nobody in the cabinet, is why I think this has happened. The idea of minting new coins to combat these financial woes, giving them the name of the franc. While minting of the proposed franc coinage would help stabilize the French economy and aid us in ongoing affairs, it also brings with it the risk of increasing inflation in the distant future. Alright, cool. The birth of permanent taxation. Following a massive undertaking, King Philippe has completed remodeling of France's finances. While France has maintained the policy of exceptional-only tax, that is only collected during times of war, King Philippe crafted a framework for permanent taxation system. Through a compromise with the noblesse and clergy, the new policy can be enacted, though these new taxation policies will be met with disapproval from the bourgeoisie and the commoners. Issue it, then you'll gain access to the tail laws. No idea. Never heard of the tail laws, but, it is what it is. And then you remove the ancient French taxation, enact the permanent tax policy. I feel like you just do this because it was bad. That tax law was bad. I mean, I suppose it gave you an extra... No, it used one and gave an extra one. So yeah, it was just bad. So getting rid of it is probably a good idea. France may also suffer from a unique disaster in the Age of Reformation, the French Wars of Religion, and if anyone has played France in EU4, you know that the French Wars of Religion it's a nasty disaster. It is a nasty disaster. With the new faith spreading rapidly among the population and its leaders growing increasingly bold, many traditional believers are becoming uneasy about the situation in the kingdom. Rising tensions between various groups have come to a head with the formation of religious rebellions and paramilitary organizations that seek to dominate our country. Failing that, they demand significant rights and freedoms to secure their future. Meanwhile, leaders of the Christian faith grow ever more irate, and again, I think this Christian faith is actually, this probably would be like Lutheran, but Lutheran hasn't spawned when this was, fired, so that's why it's like that. Grow ever more irate and warn against concessions, hinting that violence could erupt if Philippe is seen as turning away from the old teachings. So you get a disaster, the French Wars of Religion, allows clerics to migrate. Clergy don't like it very much, but they do get a lot of power, lots of war exhaustion. War exhaustion is, of course, very bad in EU5, much worse than in EU4. You can end it if you have 50 stability, 90 religious unity. You also need to have had the Wars of Religion for over 25 years, and you need to enact the Edict of Nantes. Okay then. As the new branches of the Christian faith rise across Europe, the friction created within our society has reached a boiling point. Now armed zealots, heretics, and defenders of the true faith alike threaten to throw the entire country into a series of conflicts. Alright then. You can reach compromise with the Huguenots. I probably pronounced that bad. Whatever. More actions and events will pop up after some time, which is why there's not more than one. It will also open up the Reformation Edicts, a unique law for France as one of the means to resolve the disaster. So Edict of Protestant Tolerance, Religious Tolerance, the Edict of Nantes, as we said before, the Edict of Fontainebleau, the Expanded Edict of Fontainebleau, and the Edict of Chateaubriand. Nailed it. The Reformation is sweeping across Europe, and France is at the doorstep of its outbreak. The policy of the state towards the new zealots will be critical in treating them as friends or foes. And then the Edict of Nantes lowers the clergy estate satisfaction but stability investment goes up, as does tolerance of heretical beliefs. One of the final edicts of following the end of religious strife in France, the Edict of Nantes, grants considerable rights to the religious minorities throughout France, granting them many rights alongside followers of the Catholic faith. It also ends the decades-long persecution faced by many Huguenot followers. Through sheer strength and piety, we've overcome all obstacles in our struggle to rid the kingdom of heretics that plague the land. Conversions, be it by the book or through harsher means, have finally paid off, as our people now embrace the one true faith, Catholicism, a shining beacon of Christianity. Philip de Coucy will be heralded as the protector of the faith, stoking the fears of heretics across the world. And some more late-game events as well. We have Cardinal Richelieu. There was a comment in the comments section saying that this probably should be Cardinal de Richelieu. I kind of agree with that. If you're playing as France and, you get a French guy as an event character, they should probably use the French naming scheme. So he probably should be Cardinal de Richelieu. But he can pop up. He will have his own event chain. We have René Descartes, which will be nice as well. It's Descartes. I'm terrible at pronouncing things. We have the commissioning of the Palace of Versailles as well. We need it for the glory, which you get a building here, which gives extra cultural tradition and cultural influence. Production method there for what you need to keep it running. I still don't like these, but I do believe they are placeholders, so it might be nice to see, what they get replaced with. Palace of Versailles is a major complex of the royal residence, with several salons, halls, chambers, a chapel, and even an opera. Diplomats and members of the high circles come regularly to the palace to do their bidding with the French royalty. We have Rousseau publishes the Social Contract as well, which may upend your social order, and there is much more as well. There's going to be a Tinto map feedback on Monday, Tinto Talk on Wednesday, and another Tinto Flavour on Friday. So Southeast Asia, we get a Tinto Talk about tonalism, a new Mesoamerican religious group, and then a Tinto Flavour about the Aztecs. Looking forward to that. But before we get to any of that, we have some comments to go and have a look at. So, firstly, I'm aware it's work in progress. 3D portraits are becoming better and better. I hope they'll not look so blurry. And again, as I said earlier on in the video, it's because PNG screenshots not good at showing characters in motion, which is an entirely fair point. Why the ugly geometric patterns? Are they placeholders for cities or something else? Yes, they are placeholders for cities and towns. This was a very important comment. They are placeholders, thankfully. They give the game a similar feel to Imperator Atlas map mode. Silver stars are provincial capitals and gold stars are the country capitals. As you notice, they're a work in progress in terms of design and size. Yeah, they also just need to have different symbols, I think, because they're kind of nasty. Like, this is not good. I don't like. Either way. Please give Richelieu his iconic outfit, also completely unrelated to France, but Brabant keeps taunting me in the edge of the map. So eventually they'd like to give all important characters their proper iconic look and outfit. Yes. I'm so excited for the future of this game. Please consider they have thousands of historical characters in the game, so they need to go by tiers of relevance, and it's why less important than making the 3D characters look good in general terms. I'd agree with this. I agree with this. I'm sure that eventually we'll get, everyone to be what they need to be. For sure. Is Napoleon one of the historical characters that can appear, or is it too far into the timeline? Yes! I'll talk about him when the time for the revolution comes. Cool. I mean, it would make sense for him to appear. It would be unfortunate if he did not. I know revolutions are going to be the content of a future Tinto Talk, but is there any France-specific revolution flavor? There is even more French-specific flavor tied to the revolution. Awesome. Good. Makes sense for that as well. This is in relation to Joan of Arc. Because Joan of Arc, I mean, we can go and have a look at it. She was, let's say, quite strong as a character. Where is she now? Where are you, Joan? You Absolute devil worshipper. Yeah. 99 admin, 93 diplo, and 93 military was a little ridiculous. But yes, she's already been nerfed. I would argue that due to what these stats represent, you know, admin not responds or refers. Admin basically makes your armies cheaper. Military makes them more disciplined. Diplo makes them have more morale. They do a lot more than that. Admin also increases like siege ability. They do a lot more than that, but I would argue the main, benefit that historical Joan of Arc gave to the army was one of morale. So I think she should have a very high Diplo score. I don't think her admin or her military score should be, even remotely high. I just don't. Again, she was not literate, so she should not have a high admin skill. Just saying. But that was the last comment as of the time when I, set all of this up. But we can hit refresh and see if there's anything else in here. Nope, that is the last one. Alright, well, that is your lot for the French Dev Diary. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like the video. There's a button. Press the button. Anyway, subscribe to the channel if you are interested in seeing future Tinto Talk videos that I do here on this channel. And yeah, I will see you guys on Monday or potentially Tuesday, not sure yet, for some more Tinto goodness with the Southeast Asia Tinto map feedback post thing. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.